3 haunting tales that will leave you speechless. Have you ever experienced a moment so chilling, so mysterious, that it left you questioning everything? Today, I've got 3 unforgettable stories that dive deep into the eerie, the unexplainable, and the downright terrifying. From a disturbing 911 call to family secrets better left buried, and a VHS tape hiding unspeakable horrors. Get ready for a journey into the unknown. Let's start with a story that begins with a single phone call. Story 1. The most disturbing mystery call 911 has ever received.
The most disturbing mystery call 911 has ever received. Have you ever wondered what kind of strange, eerie calls 911 operators get in the middle of the night? I thought I'd heard it all, until I came across this story. It's about a call that starts off with a simple, quiet question, but it quickly turns into something way more disturbing. So, picture this. It's late one evening. A 911 operator, I'll call her Sarah, is about halfway through her shift. She's already taken a few routine calls. Then she gets this call that just doesn't sound right. She picks up the line and hears a faint, almost whispery voice. It's a woman. The woman sounds nervous, almost like she's hiding or something. "Hello," she says, barely loud enough to hear. Sarah goes through her usual routine, asking the caller's location, but the woman keeps whispering, "Someone's in my house. I think he's in the hallway." Sarah tries to keep calm. She asks the woman where she is, but the woman just whispers back, "Under the bed." Sarah's heart starts racing. This isn't the usual kind of call. The woman explains in a hushed tone that she lives alone, no pets, no kids, and she has no idea who this man is. He just appeared in her home out of nowhere. Sarah tries to ask her questions, get her address, find out more, but then the line cuts off. Sarah's heart sinks. She tries calling back, but there's no answer. Just when she's about to give up, the line comes back on. It's the woman again, and this time, she sounds more panicked. He's looking under the bed," she whispers. Sarah holds her breath. She tries to keep the woman calm, telling her to stay as quiet as possible, but suddenly, there's this loud thump. And then silence. Sarah's left sitting there, staring at the screen, waiting for any sign that the call is still active. But nothing. The call ends. By this point, Sarah's pretty shaken. But just when she's about to report it, something really weird happens. The phone rings again. Same number. She picks up, and it's another whisper. Only this time, it's not the woman. It's a man. And he's whispering, "I found her." Sarah freezes. She has no idea what to do. But then, the call disconnects again. She immediately reports it and sends officers to the address they managed to trace. The officers arrive, but when they enter the home, they find nothing. No signs of a struggle, no trace of the woman or the man. They search the place top to bottom, but it's like no one had been there at all. To this day, Sarah swears that call haunts her. No explanation, no follow-up, just gone. And the creepy part? There was no record of the woman ever living at that address. So, was it some twisted prank? Or did Sarah really catch a glimpse of something beyond the ordinary? I don't know. But after hearing that story, I definitely double-check my locks before bed.
Just when you think things couldn't get more unsettling, let me take you to a story much closer to home, mine. Families are supposed to be safe, right? But what if your own bloodline was hiding something dark? Something that could change everything you thought you knew. Here's what happened. Story 2. My family has a dark secret, and it changes everything.
My family has a dark secret, and it changes everything. I always thought my family was ordinary. Sure, we had our quirks, but don't all families? Then, last summer, I found something buried in the basement of my childhood home. What I uncovered shattered everything I believed about my family and myself. A few months ago, my parents sold our old house. They asked me to help pack up some things before the new owners moved in. I wasn't thrilled about it, but I figured it was a chance to visit home one last time. While clearing out the basement, I noticed a loose floorboard in the corner of the room. At first, I ignored it, but as I moved boxes, the board shifted more, revealing a small, hollow space underneath. I couldn't resist. I pried it open. Inside, I found a dusty, locked metal box. The key was taped to the bottom, which seemed strange, like someone wanted it to be found. When I opened the box, my heart sank. Inside were old photographs, newspaper clippings, and a few handwritten letters. All of them centered around a missing person case from the 1980s, a case I'd vaguely heard of before. But then I looked closer. The names in the articles? They were people from my family. My grandfather's name was listed as a person of interest. I didn't know what to do. I debated throwing everything away, pretending I hadn't seen it. But curiosity got the better of me. I showed my parents what I found. Their reaction was terrifying. My mom went pale. My dad grabbed the box out of my hands and told me never to speak of it again. He said it was in the past, and nothing good could come from digging it up. That night, I couldn't sleep. I read through the letters I had managed to keep before my dad snatched the box. One was from my grandfather, addressed to someone named L. He talked about regrets, mistakes, and something called the agreement. I didn't stop there. Over the next few weeks, I became obsessed. I researched the missing person case and found something chilling. The timeline didn't match up. My grandfather had an alibi. The real suspect had never been caught. But then I found a journal entry from my grandmother, written years later. It hinted that the family had paid someone off to keep quiet. It wasn't my grandfather who had done something terrible, it was someone else in the family. It hit me. My family had been hiding this secret for decades, protecting someone. But who? What? To this day, I don't know the whole truth. I haven't spoken to my parents about it since that night. The house has new owners now, but I sometimes wonder if they've found anything we left behind. Whatever the truth is, one thing is clear: my family isn't what I thought it was.
Secrets are one thing, but what about things we stumble upon, completely by accident? A tape found in the woods, something that should have been left untouched. What's on that tape will leave you questioning reality itself. Here's the story. Story 3. I found a VHS tape in the woods and it changed my life forever.
Found a VHS tape in the woods, and it contains my worst nightmare. It was just supposed to be a normal hike in the woods. Fresh air, peace, and quiet. But then I saw it, a dusty, cracked VHS tape lying in the dirt, half buried under some leaves. Curious, I picked it up, and that decision changed everything. What I found on that tape, I still can't explain. Let me tell you what happened. The hike started out normal enough, but as I followed an old, overgrown trail, I stumbled across the tape near what looked like the remains of a campsite. The label on the tape was smudged, but I could make out 3 words: "Do not watch." Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I should have just left it there. But who could resist? I took it home, dusted it off, and hooked up an old VHS player I found in my garage. At first, the tape was just static, but then the image cleared. It showed an empty room with flickering lights. There was no sound. I thought it might just be some old home video. But then the camera moved, like someone was holding it. That's when things got strange. The tape cut to different scenes, random, unsettling things. A dark hallway with distant whispers. A shadow darting past the screen. And then I saw something that froze me. A figure standing motionless in a forest, staring at the camera. The scene looked eerily familiar. It was the exact spot where I found the tape. But how could that be? The camera zoomed in on the figure. It was blurry, but it almost looked like same jacket, same backpack. My heart was pounding, but I couldn't stop watching. The next part of the tape was worse. The tape cut to what looked like my house. The camera slowly moved through the hallway into the living room and then my bedroom. It was empty, but the way the camera lingered on my bed made my stomach turn. The footage stopped abruptly, and the screen went black. I rewound the tape, thinking maybe it was a trick of my imagination. But this time, there was a new scene. It showed me sitting on my couch, watching the tape, exactly what I was doing at that moment. I turned off the TV and yanked the tape out of the player. But as I sat there in silence, I thought I heard something outside. I looked out the window, and there it was, The same figure from the tape, standing at the edge of my yard. It didn't move, didn't make a sound. I grabbed my phone and called the police, but by the time they arrived, the figure was gone. I showed them the tape, but when we tried to play it again, it was just static. To this day, I don't know what really happened. Was it some kind of prank? Or was the tape a warning? One thing's for sure. If you ever find a VHS tape in the woods, just leave it there.
So what do you think? Each of these stories left an unforgettable mark. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more chilling tales. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.